home at your kitchen table or in your recliner. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for adding your energy to our Center for Spiritual Living and our celebration of love and life. I'm Reverend Judy Anderson, and truly it is a privilege to say thank you. And especially as we have Thanksgiving coming up soon, wonderful to focus on thank yous and gratitude. So to begin, let's read our opening affirmation together. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. With this attitude of rejoicing and gratitude, I go about the events of my day with love in my heart and a song on my lips. This day and every day, I find ways to celebrate life. All is God, all is good, and so it is. And I have one announcement. Those of you who are on my morning message list will have noticed you're not getting messages, and that's because my email system is down and I'm going to have to rebuild my list. Now, if you want to be on that morning message list, my new email that I'm using for now is CAM and the digit 1, AND and the digit 2, and here's the difference, at iCloud.com. So CAM1 and 2 at iCloud.com. So let me know. In the meantime, I may send out a mass message to everybody on my contact list, and we'll work at rebuilding my morning message list. Thank you. And for the children that are sitting with mom and dad at the table maybe, or maybe mom will just talk to you about it later. But our word for the day is faithfulness. And it's a long word, but just think about faith. Faithfulness is being true to someone or something. It's like being a rock in the middle of fast water. You stand firm no matter what. It comes from really knowing and living what you believe. When you are faithful, you can be counted on and trusted. You show up for what you promised to do. You keep your commitments. And our affirmation, I do not settle for anything less than my best. So let's say it together. I do not settle for anything less than my best. Thank you. And with that, we'll simply go into our message for today, for our inspiration from Reverend Tress Phillips. Just a reminder to you that our September theme is reaching higher. And the way to do that, as Reverend Tress is going to talk to us, is about stinking thinking. Oh my, Reverend Tress.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. Of course, I'd never do any stinking thinking. Can you see my nose grow here? Welcome, everyone here and everyone out in the live stream world. Good morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. You just look outside, see the colors. Well, how was your week? Was it okay? Yeah. Well, I had one of those interesting weeks. I had a screwball day. It was like not just a screwball, like it was capitalized and it was highlighted and underlined. You see, I didn't sleep the previous night, and it's not unusual for me to go without sleep. I've gone long, long time periods without sleep. So sleeping is not something I easily do, but that night, previous night, I had not slept. So I think because of the not sleeping, that pretty well laid the groundwork for my screwball experience. You see, I had a credit card that had come past the due date, and they'd sent me a new one, and oh, there it is. So, and I hardly ever use this credit card. So I took it into the appropriate store I had to purchase an item to activate it. So shopped, he waited and waited and waited, and I finally found one thing. And I took it to the till, all ready to go with this card. And I'm saying I'm reactivating this card, and I put it in to the reader, and I had a blank out. My mind went blank. First time ever that has happened to me. But you know what? Finally, I'm saying, oh yeah, I remember it. And I punched it in, and inaccurate. Punched it in again, inaccurate. And the girl said, well, it has a chip on it. Let me just use the chip. She took the chip and did the chip, and it said decline. And I'm kind of feeling bad, like I'm trying to rob the store with a stolen card, and all the people in line, they're giving me the gray hair, senior, That's what I'm thinking they're thinking. And they're thinking, you know, I got better things to do, lady, than wait for you because you don't remember your PIN number. Well, they don't know the true story, and so often in our lives we think we know what's going on when we don't know the true story. The true story is, yes, I did recall my PIN number. However, it was the first PIN number I was issued by the company way when the store started. Now, this store has been in Red Deer for 20 or more years. So the PIN, I remembered something that old because I've changed the PIN. So my account was locked, and she said to me, well, and actually I think I should have gotten applause because, 20 years ago, and I remembered the PIN, that's pretty darn good. Just the one that I currently had given, it had flown out the window somewhere. But she said, well, you know, they'll probably phone you when you get home, or you phone them. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I got to phone them. And so I did phone them. And all different ways I phoned them. And I got a loop, an answering loop. Press this button, press this button, press this button. So, okay, is it lost or stolen? And I knew it wasn't lost or stolen. And my husband's playing music here. I'm not going to dance, sweetie. So, but every way, for every reason you're going to want to get a hold of this company, you got the same loop. So I realized that I wasn't going to get an answer. And it reminded me that Dr. Holmes said, thoughts are things. That life is a mirror, and it will reflect back to the thinker what it thinks into it. So I got thinking, well, I started writing this talk a few days before my screwball experience. And what is the title of my talk? Stinkin' Thinkin', oh my. Well, that certainly was stinking day, getting there and having the wrong number. And I'm thinking, you know what, Tress, you set yourself up. You paved the way by saying those words, believing the words, stinking thinking. So I got what I asked for. You see, the power of my words created a real gong show. For me, anyway. We're spiritual beings in a human experience, and each of us are given the creative power through our thought and our words. It's the energy that is built into it. You see, God is no respecter of persons. Divine mind, God doesn't say, oh, you've been good. I know that you really knew the number, so we'll just let it pass this time. No, what I think is what I get, whether I want it or not. But I certainly can change the way I think, change the words. You see, we're all one. No one's greater, no one's lesser. We are all one in the divine. So no one gets special treatment when they say things or act ways. Divine mind always acts the same. We come together, each a part of the whole. So Gord's thinking, Marianne's thinking, Judy's thinking, Diane's thinking, Susan's thinking, and Russ's thinking, all separate, yet we're all one. We come together in the one mind. And we had a coming together experience at yesterday's farmer's market. Sweet Babu had his date with the pie lady, so we have to go. And they've got a real thing going, him and her, because she keeps baking pies, and I keep thinking, lady, you keep baking those pies, because I can't make a pie worth a darn. And on our way to get the precious pies, we noticed that here they've got the signs for the municipal election, October 18th. And we have a friend who is actually one of the people running for council. So we grab a sign, talk and grab a sign, and I'll tell you, it was amazing. We were unconsciously providing free advertising all the way to the pie lady and then over to the food area where we look at the food and maybe buy some stuff. And he was carrying, Sweet Babu was carrying the sign, and all these people, the attendees were looking at us either, oh yeah, okay, or they were looking at us with that mean look about, why would you want to vote for them? And all we're doing was carrying a sign. But we were quite popular because the other candidates, they saw us with the sign and they're calling us over, hey, yada yada, or some came right out of their booths to talk to us because they wanted our vote as well, you see. What were we doing? We were carrying a sign. It had words on it. That's all we were doing. It was the power of those words that was making the reaction happen. We didn't even say boo. We're carrying a sign with words. So that's just like our thinking, our thoughts, our actions. How do I think? How do I speak? Because it's going to affect absolutely everything in my life from this moment on. So I'd like you to just take a moment now and think about your experiences in the last week or the last month, the last year, or your lifetime. Just pause and think. It may have been a variety of things. The good times, the happy times, the lonely times, the scary times, the frustrating times, the I don't know what in heck's going on, but I'm just going to keep going times. But it is part of life. Today is a new day, a new reason to live, express, and be the beautiful God child that each of us are. Time to discover, accept, acknowledge, and love yourself. Embody the words. Today is a new day, a new reason for you to live and you to express the beautiful God essence. that you are. I know the word stinking thinking certainly didn't do me much good. It does make an interesting talk title, but it might have been a nicer experience with a different talk title. So are you ready to expand and advance yourself from the wisdom of experience you've gained in this journey called your life? Because there's that in us that continues to call us forward, upward to a greater understanding of ourselves and our relationships to ourself, the divine self within us. Through that is a greater role for ourselves, our purpose. And still I rise. In spite of the discomfort and obstacles that each of us must face and persevere, we still must rise. Perhaps not in spite of our challenges and discomforts, but because of them. Dr. Holmes, our great teacher, says there is a power for good in the universe, which is responding to me, responding to each and every one of us individually, and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment. This power uses every part of me. It reveals my wholeness through all the parts that are human experience. Dr. Holmes also states that all my life's experiences are part of the unfoldment of my good on the journey onward and upward. So the suggested title for today's talk was "And Still I Rise." And the purpose of this talk was, in spite of times of discomfort and obstacles, we persevere and rise. So when I look at that, I think, well, maybe me changing it to stinking thinking, and I hadn't even read the outline of what it is I'm to discuss, I just gave it a name. I think that suited it as well, because it did cause discomfort and obstacles for me. So I'm really able to talk about this because I just went through it with that screwball day. So what is it we're building on? Well, we know as we look outside, the beautiful leaves are falling. We see lots of the animals. We saw 3 deer on 30th Avenue earlier this week. There's all kinds of beautiful fall events right around us. It's getting darker earlier, sun's coming up later, but it's still that crispness, that beauty, the smell of fall. It's like a blessing to us. So think of the forest floor and how the leaves fall, the branches fall down, whatever may happen in the forest ends up on the ground. Not discarded, but building a foundation for the future growth. So obstacles that have failed, discarded experiences, cast-offs, mistakes, make a foundation to build upon. And I know sometimes in life things can happen that we ourselves may feel like we were a mistake, that we were a cast-off, that we are discarded, that no one loves us, whatever the turmoil. But that's not true. We are part of the experience. And what is happening is actually like the leaves falling on the carpet of the forest. It's building blocks. Just like the forest floor full of discarded leaves, branches, etc., builds and enriches the foundation that the forest lives upon. we look around at what we see as discard. So think of the things you've thought of as a bad experience or a discarded thing. We see the value that it is, in fact, the very foundation, the support for a better, stronger life, for we learn through our past experiences. So some of us may use it to plant a garden, a more beautiful life, to build upon ourselves greater things. And then there's others that may just see, oh, well, I'm no good, I'm rotten, and life is horrible. It's how we believe, but that same foundation is there. We are spiritual beings in a human experience. Oh yeah, Tress, I've heard that a gazillion times. Tell me something new. Okay. Each of you are a spiritual being. A spiritual being. That means divine mind, God essence. The creator of all is what is in you, your very being. And right now you are in a human experience. Kind of sounds like a miracle to me. And each of us are given the creative power of thought. Thoughts are things. Words are things. Actions are things. And the energy for that comes from the divine. What we say and speak goes into the divine, is created, and out it comes. Divine intelligence, the creative power back of all things, operates through and as us. Nothing's wasted. All is used for good. And none of us are a waste of time. Each and every one of us have a beautiful and unique gift from God. And that's to be exactly the way we are. For each of us add our own spice. Okay, you're going to make soup. You have a pot of water. Well, you might put a few vegetables in, so pick the whatever you want to put in. I'll be a turnip, just because I feel like I look like a turnip today, so that's going to work. But you just put whatever's in it. And it tastes like water with lumpy vegetables in it. I need some spice. I need to add new things. Each of us are the spice of the life of the world. Each of us make the world a better place, add a uniqueness. It would be pretty bland just having the water and one or two vegetables and no flavor. Enjoy the spice of who you are. Enjoy your differences. Enjoy whatever obstacles there have been and see the gift in them. See, we all face life's joys and challenges equally, knowing all our experiences are used by Spirit in service to a greater unfoldment. So that which was most devastating produced the texture and the uniqueness in the work of art that each of us are. Each of us are like a beautiful painting, a beautiful work of art, and yet together we're like a giant quilt of many single patches, but one beautiful colored quilt. So if you think fall is beautiful, imagine a quilt made of the uniqueness and beauty of mankind. It would be incredible. Each of you are a beautiful work of art called life. Each different, yet each equally important. Within each of us is that which is unstoppable, inexhaustible, inextinguishable, which we live, we move, and have our being, the divine. That which rises in us, as us, can never, ever be oppressed. The only thing oppressing our beauty, our uniqueness, our life, is our own thoughts and our own actions. And we are able to change that. Life rises as us always. So I know for you, and I know for me, that life is God's life now. I make a positive, beautiful, and unique expression in this thing called life. And I wanted to throw love in there, so love as well. And so it is. And now, if you will repeat with me the prosperity affirmation, and it is on your yellow sheet. All that I am is a gift of God. All that I give is from the divine flow that I receive, use, and let go to nourish and sustain all of creation. In my world of peace, harmony, and prosperity, there is constant supply and constant release. I am one with the divine process, and so it is. And if you wish, you may make a donation. We do have our donation basket there, and online as well. You will find ways to make a donation if you wish. And just by attending here physically and attending with the live stream, you are actually giving back to the center. For you each are beautiful. Now the closing, all things have come to pass, that a greater good may move in. I am open to the process, releasing that which has served its purpose, and accepting with grace the next experience. Life is flow, strong, deep, and true. I am one with the flow. Trusting, I let go and permit life to live itself as me, and so it is. And now, if you just join with me, I'll do a closing meditation. Know with me that the divine mind is in each and every one of us. And I know it is within me, and I know that my life is a gift, and that the journey that I travel is wonderfully peppered with new experiences, happy experiences, learning experiences, and the divine within me is able to manifest beautiful and wonderful outcomes. I am not alone. The divine mind is with me, always, and so it is.